Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the most random deck list that you're probably going to see on this channel. And today we're going to be taking a look at Dragapult Tera Box. This was a challenge in a Discord server that I helped moderate and obviously, interact with and everything like that. And I basically said, well, we were basically discussing Dragapult in the future. So, when obviously, rotation happens and, yeah, that's something that we obviously have to be prepared for. And obviously, as we know, the Dragapult Dusknoir line will probably be something that will probably still be around, but obviously the Dragapult Charizard variant kind of disappears. So I thought, why not try something a little bit more wacky and shove it in Tera Box and see what happens? So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. So as per usual, in the description below, there's going to be usual links. There'll be the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below. There'll be the games that we'll play, and also the outro and what I think of the deck. And, yeah, this is a really weird deck, but allow me to explain. So obviously we are playing a 2-2-1 line of the Dragapult EX, with its Phantom Dive and Jet Headbutt attacks. Now, obviously, the ace spec I've gone with is Sparkling Crystal, so this means that we can even use a Crispin and get a Dragapult going surprisingly early. Now, obviously, we don't have the big, shall we say, swing of Dragapult plus Dusknoir plus Hawlucha in this list, but we do have someone else in this deck list, and that is Wellspring Mask Ogerpon EX. Obviously, for just 2 energy with the Sparkling Crystal on, we can do Torrential Pump for 100, and then, of course, we can shuffle energy back into the deck and obviously do 120 to a bench Pokemon. We also have the versatility of using Sob, which is something that is actually quite useful. Also in this list, we have an Iron Leaves plus a Teal Mask Ogerpon package. Teal Mask Ogerpon can obviously do its Myriad Leaf Shower attack, but I'll be realistic with you. It's very rare you get 3 energy on this guy, because obviously you're energy switching. Obviously, you don't play many grass in this list, because, well, you don't really have to, and Iron Leaves only takes 2 anyway, plus a colorless. And, well, Iron Leaves is just a more versatile attacker in this concept, because obviously, a lot of the time, Iron Leaves is one of those cards that is... It's very good, but at the same time, Iron Leaves does have its flaws compared to a Teal Mask Ogerpon. Obviously, it is vulnerable to bench damage, unlike Teal Mask. Obviously, it does use less grass energy, but at the same time, it's one of those that you would have to E-switch off it if you don't manage to recover anything. But to be honest, it's been quite a versatile little deck, and I'm quite proud of how I've created this. Obviously, as well, we are playing a Lillie's Clefairy in here. This is also for the mirror against regular Dragapult variants. It's very good in that regard. And obviously, Lillie's Clefairy is just a really good card to have anyway. We play Psychic Energy, we might as well play it. And we play E-switch, so again, we might as well play it. Other than that, it's your pretty standard, shall we say, Tera Box. Obviously, we're not playing a Pika, but we do have the Bloodmoon Ursaluna. We also have the Mew and the Latias. And obviously, as we go further down, we do have Fez and Terapagos. Now, we are already playing a 3-3 Noctowl Hoothoot line, but that's something I've been prepared to deal with, and so far, hardly makes a difference. So let's go to the deck list, and let's discuss this deck a little bit more in detail. And welcome to the deck list. This is definitely a deck that I'm sure some of you will probably be questioning if I was drinking or not whilst creating this. No, I was not. I was not on the booze, that's for sure. But I decided to go with the Dragapult approach, which, if you're familiar with what I mean by that terminology, 2-2-1 Dragapult, and so far it's been very good. Obviously, I've incorporated a few other cards to obviously assist with getting Pult going earlier, because obviously we don't have the hitting power of Pika, and that's something that could obviously hold this list back. Now, I did try a variant with Pika, and it was a Clunk City, because obviously you're playing a little bit more like Tera Box, you're not really playing like Pult. And as you'll see with the energy count, we're obviously playing 3 Psychic, 2 Fire. And obviously, with the Pika build, you have to cut down to 3 Grass, because that's the only way you can realistically fit it all in. 2 Psychic and 1 Fire. And obviously, if you prize your Crystal and you prize a Fire, it just feels really bad. So I've kind of stuck with this version, just so I had, the Dragapult versatility. I had the Wellspring for early game. And I have type coverage to an extent. But, there is a world in which a Pikachu EX goes into this list, but it's not a very big world. It's quite a hard one to, fit in and everything. So obviously we're playing a 3-3 Hoothoot Noctowl line, 2 70 HP Hoothoots and a 80 HP Hoothoot. Then obviously 3 Noctowls, 2 Dreepies, 2 Drakloaks and 1 Dragapult EX, 2 Fan Rotoms, 2 Wellsprings, 1 Terapagos, 1 Mew, 1 Latias, 1 Clefairy, 1 Bloodmoon Ursaluna, 1 Fez, 1 Teal Ogerpon, and of course 1 Iron Leaves EX. Then for supporters, we're playing 3 Crispin, 2 Boss, 1 Lillies, 1 Turo, 1 Dawn. Dawn is busted if you don't prize your pull, because you can get your pull, you can get a basic like either a Hoothoot or any of your other squad, and then obviously a stage 1 which can be a Noctowl or a Drakloak. Dawn is insane in this list, it's not even funny. Obviously, to get more value off of Dawn, you could put a second Dragapult in, but I'd want a 3-3-2 line at that point, and it's just making space, and it's quite difficult to do. Then, of course, for a little bit of hand disruption, we do have an Iono in here. 4 Nest Ball, 2 Ultra Ball, 2 Energy Switch, 1 Buddy Puffin, which I am debating going up to 2. It feels pretty good to have 2 Puffin in this list, but at that point, I'd recommend cutting the 80 HP Hoothoot and putting in a third 70 HP Hoothoot. 1 Candy, this is just for burst into Dragapult, because obviously that can happen with this list, and it's very good when it happens. 1 Earthen Vessel, 1 Super Rod, 1 Counter Catcher, 1 Tera Orb, which is kind of broken because obviously we do have a lot of Terras in this list. 1 Sparking Crystal, 3 Area Zero, 4 Grass Energy, 3 Psychic Energy, 2 Fire Energy, and 1 Water Energy. Obviously, another thing you may have noticed is we're not playing any Night Stretchers. That is another card which I think would be able to go into this list. But as I said, this list is very tight, so you know, I've tried to do what I can. Obviously, a Super Rod is good to have anyway, but I would like a Night Stretcher. I would like one in this list, but I've not really found the room for it. Obviously, I know a certain content creator would want to remove this Bloodmoon Ursaluna and put a Night Stretcher in, but I've not really come to that conclusion yet. And plus, Bloodmoon is just good to have, because obviously he is a cheap attacker in the endgame. But other than that, this list has been really fun to make, and it's definitely been a challenge for me as a deck builder. But I've really enjoyed myself actually playing this list and, you know, actually trying it. So let's see if it will play ball, because it's been doing really well in testing. Let's get into some games and see how we do. Welcome to the first game. We're paired up against someone in Greninja rank. This is going to be an interesting little deck to, like, get on the ladder, because I've been mainly doing testing against the AI and, like, learning how the deck works. Because I'll be honest, this was definitely a wacky idea of mine, and I thought, well, it's worth trying, you know, like, there's no harm in trying something new, and, well, at the end of the day, it's just something that we will all have to do at some point. You have to try and step out your comfort zone. Alright, let's see what we get off the top. That's not bad. I would prefer a Dreepy start, but it's fine. I can start the Latias, it's not a big deal. Now, obviously, another card you could add in is a Ditto, which I'd love to have with this opening hand right now. There's an Ultra Ball, so we will get rid of probably Drakloak and Area Zero, I think is the best. Just so we can get, well, fans established and things like that. Let's have a look at the prizes. So we've not prized a pull. We've just had to throw away that Drakloak, so we've not prized any Drakloak or Dreepy. We've got the whole Tera squad in there, but this is where I'd love to have a Ditto in this list as well, but unfortunately, I couldn't make room for one, because there's a lot to include with this list. So we'll just grab the 80 HP Hoothoot, bench it, and pass. Maybe they might Iono us, we don't know yet. But we'll soon find out. If they Iono us, although I suspect this is Dengo, we've not got a great starting hand, because obviously we've not been able to establish a Dreepy. Or a Tera is another thing. We've not been able to establish a Tera, which is kind of shameful. There's an Iono, so we're probably not facing Pult then, because they don't well, not Pult, Dengo, because they don't typically play a Iono. They don't typically play it. But fighting Gong could give us a hint. It could be Lucario. And if it is, we have type coverage for that. So it's not a big deal. There's a Lunar Cycle. I suspect this is Lucario, because they don't typically... Well, Dengo doesn't play Iono. Nest Ball, I think we're about to find out. Yeah, now that we've got the Teal Mask in hand, it is Dengo. Okay, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought that, but sure. Cosmic Beam for 70, that's fine. we can Nest Ball and shuffle the deck, so that's what we're going to do first. So we'll Nest Ball, get ourselves a Dreepy. We don't really play any type coverage for Dingo. I did debate putting a thing in this list, what's it called? A Moltres, because obviously we are playing Fire Energy. Oh, that's kind of bad. I can Turo the Latias, and then again, no, I'd rather Turo the Fan, because then I can put Wellspring down. And I can at least get that charged up, I guess. Have I got... I'm going to Vessel away the Fan. It's not particularly useful right now. I've got the Water Energy in deck. Good. So I'll just grab that. I should have grabbed the Grass. I've just realised that. I'll just pass. It's fine. We could deal with it, but this is not a great start. Because, well, they've already gotten Solrock swinging early. If they can get Dingo going, I mean, it's kind of bad, but, well... Getting Iono'd away to Hoot or Noctowls is kind of bad, because, yeah. And facing the Solrock Lunaten engine is actually quite tough for us, because obviously we do have... What was that? Oh, it's Brock Scouting, that's fine. Probably just going to grab Dingo or Genesect, and yeah, he's grabbing Dingo. This is kind of bad for us. This is not looking good. I mean, every deck starts somewhere, but... Yeah, I should have grabbed a Grass off of the Vessel there. That was a misplay by me. Yeah, they're getting ready to set up. I'm just going to concede and go to a game 2. I won't be able to beat this board. Not with Fire-type coverage. Or without Fire-type coverage. See you in game 2. Welcome back to game 2. That was unfortunate. And obviously the minor misplay probably wouldn't have mattered, to be honest. Because they got really set up. But, you know, it's the thought that counts. It's important to, like, remember that, you know. Sequencing and things like that are important. And, well... You know, getting Iono two of our Noctowls to the bottom of the deck, which is weird because Dingo doesn't normally play hand destruction, so that did kind of catch me off a little bit of a guard, but still. We'll take that L, I guess, and Dingo's quite tough anyway. Making me go first, that's fine by me. I will deal with that. And we start the Wellspring, that's pretty good for us, especially with this opening hand. This is really good. This is a really good opening hand, and it's Charizard Dragapult. Okay, that should be fine for us. We do have the Leaves for type coverage, and we do have the Clefairy as type coverage as well. We have a lot of merits in this matchup, but obviously it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It just depends if they play a Shaman, which is unlikely, but they could. There's a Puffin, so we will definitely play that. I don't think I need to get down double Dreepy. I can get the Fan, though. They're probably going to be thinking, what the hell am I playing? But, well, you are going to find out soon enough, my friend. I prized my Teal Mask, so that's unfortunate. I'm going to get Latias down in case they try and Gust. Then I'll Nest Ball again. Because obviously I need to establish stuff. I mean, I need to get down Hoothoots anyway, so I'll just grab the 80 HP Hoothoot. And then I'll Fan Call. Grab the 70 HP and 2 Noctowls. So there's that. I can commit an energy attachment, and I'll commit it to the Ogerpon, because we could potentially Crispin. And yeah, we'll just pass. If he's got a Shaman in the list, which is unlikely, we can deal with it. And to be fair, I'd probably prioritize the Dragapults anyway, because Dragapult will devastate this board. Let's see what the race spec is if they're playing Trolley, which is, again, unlikely. But they could be, you know. Variants are out there, I guess. But still, this is a very good starting hand. And also, that means we're not getting hand disrupted, which is important here. Because we can go Drakloak, Noctowl, Jewel Seeker. Badoo, that's fine. We have the Crispin in hand. Although, to be fair, I'd probably just go Noctowl for Crystal plus Boss. But then again, that doesn't really feel too good. Going into the Badoo, does he have an energy attachment? No, but that is fine. We can deal with that. The Candy's offline, but we have the Drakloak in hand, so I'm not really worried about that. So we'll go into Drakloak. I'm going to Drakloak first, so that way we could get something. Maybe an energy. Terra Orb, we can't use either of these cards, but we can take the Terra Orb for later. So what I'm thinking is I go Noctowl for Jewel Seeker. I have to grab Crystal here, but I'm only taking out Badoo plus Dreepy, which feels kind of bad. But He's not established a Charmander, so I'm not too worried. I could also Lilies and get an energy, but like I don't think that's worth it. I can always just grab Vessel for later. So that's something, I guess. Obviously, I can't use Vessel right now. But I can go Crystal, Crispin. We'll take the water and the grass. We'll keep the grass in hand in case we get our Teal Mass back. And then we will Torrential Pump. And we'll take out the one with the Rescue Board. Make him work a little bit harder to get his stuff out of the active. And that's a nice early 2-prize turn. We'll take that. If we get our Teal Mass off the prizes, that'd be even better. No, but that's fine. We also prized Mew, but I'm not worried about Mew. Mew's good in this matchup, to be fair, so I can't really knock it, but still. They don't know I have second Noctowl in hand, so, you know, it's something to consider. And I know for a fact these lists don't play Shaman. It's very rare you do see a Shaman. That's the second that's the second TM Evo he's thinned out, so he's playing quite a heavy line. But it's fine. It does mean we can go for the Pult this turn, which if he benches a low HP basic that we can actually Pult, this is going to feel pretty good. Otherwise, I'll probably just attack with Wellspring again. Depends though, he could play a second Bidoof. Okay, he's just getting down Dreepies. It's going to be better to Wellspring here, but at the same time, I think it's just, you know, I'm probably just going to go for, you know, Wellspring this turn. And then again, he's doing Recon, he's evolved the active, because that's the only way you can evolve it. Is it better to Wellspring, or is it better to, you know, I think it's just better to Wellspring and just set up the Pult on the bench. Because we have the Wellspring pressure, we might as well use it, you know? There's no harm in using it. Alright, well let's Drakloak first, because that's better for consistency. We'll take the second Wellspring, because we can bench that in case he gets an attack off, so that's fine. So all we realistically need is Crispin, and then that's your lot. We have Crispin in deck, I know we do. I can also get a Buddy Poffin, which will be quite nice. I don't need to boss or anything like that. Okay, we've already... No, we used that Buddy Poffin. I'll grab Nest Ball, it's fine. Just ignore me, I guess. So we'll Nest Ball. Grab ourselves... No, not you. Another Dreepy. I don't need Clefairy down right now. But I'd really want my Teal Mask off the prizes, that's for sure. So we'll just go for another Crispin. Again, we'll go Water and Grass. We'll take the Grass to hand in case we get the Teal Mask off the prizes. I mean, I can just sob this, but, like, I don't see the point in it. So I'm just going to do that. Having Teal Mask prize is kind of annoying, but we will deal with it. So we will Torrential Pump, take out the Drakloak, and we would have taken out the Charmander there, and that's game. Easy concession, we didn't even need the pull, and well, that's why the Wellspring is a 2 count in this list. It's very devastating. Let's go to game 3. Well, that went decently well. I think we're actually paired against the same person, ironically. I think I recognise the name, but I don't know if that was the same person. But yeah, this variant's been really fun to test. So I've really enjoyed myself actually playing this list because, you know, it's been a challenge for me because obviously I got given the challenge to like shove Dragapult somewhere else, you know, like not just play Pult. And it's been quite an interesting little one. Do I want to start That's got a 2 retreat cost, so I'll start with a Dreepy. That's the important thing to bear in mind about this Hoothoot. It does have a 2 retreat cost, not a 1, so just bear that in mind. But I mean, we do get a turn attachment onto the Dreepy, which is always nice. And we're going first, obviously, so that's another advantage we have. Candy's pretty good, so I'll bench the Hoothoot. I'm going to Ultra Ball. I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to Ultra Ball away... Actually, Fire and Psychic, because I can get these back later. Have I got Teal Mask in deck? I do. I think I risk it and grab Teal Mask. Have I got other energies in deck? Yeah, I do. I'm going to risk it and go Teal Mask draw. See, that's why you risk it, folks. That is brilliant. So now we can go for Hoothoot Noctowls. We can go Dragapult turn 2, which is insane when you think about it. I'm pretty certain I saw a Pult in there. I wasn't even looking for Pult, I'll be honest. I was just making sure my Teal Mask wasn't prized. Teal Mask is one of the best parts about this deck, I'll be honest. And it's definitely something to consider. But obviously we do have type coverage, so just remember that. He's going for Body Poffin plus TM Evo again. Yeah, it's the same dude, I thought it was, but it's fine. I wasn't even looking at his username, I'll be honest. There's a Luminous. He's going to be able to get the TM Evo down now. So let's see what he... Well, it depends on if he's... Excuse me, if he's prize checked. There's Evolution. We could go Wellspring, like put early pressure on, take out some dudes, but we don't have enough resources to get the Wellspring going without having to use Crispin. It's only if we top deck an energy, which is where we would be able to do that. Because I'd want to go boss, double, we'll take out double Drakloak. Well, there's a Vessel, but I don't really want to... Then again, I can afford to get rid of Crispin. So I can Vessel away the Crispin. I'll grab Crass and a Fire. In fact, no. I'll take the Psychic, because then we can keep Crispin more online. See, I can get a Wellspring off, but it's going to cost a lot of resources. So I think we have to do it just to get earlier pressure on. Because we don't play Hawlucha, that's the one thing to bear in mind. So I take Boss and I take Nest Ball. Because then I get Nest Ball plus Area 0 for the next one. Well, for the next Noctowl. In fact, no, I need... I can't do it, I don't think. Because if I go Latias, I need Area 0 plus E-Switch, which is kind of tough to ask for. And I'd need Crystal. So yeah, I think I'm asking for too much. So, I could always Soblock to Dreepy. That is an option. I think I might. I can go for that, I guess. It's the best thing probably to do. This is kind of tough. I think I just go for it. But then again, if I have Pull, I can get early damage on these these Dreepies and these Drakloaks. I'll Teal Dance first, just see what I get. Okay, that's not helpful this time. See, what I can do is I can go for a Soblock, but it would need... Well, I would need to Noctowl again for E-Switch and stuff like that. I'm just trying to think of what to do here. Do I have Tera Orb? Oh, he's just going to concede. Okay, sure. I was going to probably get Tera Orb and see if I had Pull. I'm pretty certain I had Pull, but... Well, he's just going to concede, and he must have thought I could get a Wellspring off. See you in Game 4. Oh, welcome back to Game 4. That was not too bad there. We obviously got the early concession. We did... I think we was going to be able... Like, we wasn't going to be able to get off the Wellspring attack, but we was definitely getting the Pult attack off. And obviously, in that situation, I would have bossed the Charmander, because he had no real energy down. He did have the Luminous down, but you can't double stack Luminous, so I probably would have done that. But so far so good. Like we've had the extra draw from Drakloak, which has been pretty useful, but hopefully we can actually use the Pult this game. And we start the Wellspring. I would definitely take that, especially with this hand going first. This is an insane hand. So we've got Steenie. It's a Serena deck. Ooh, this is spicy. We don't play anything to cover metal. I know that much, but we can get early pressure on against the Bound Suites, because they're 30 HP, and well, there's 60 HP, sorry. And there's the Pull, so that's very good. See, look, 60 HP Bound Suite, so that's what we want. So we'll go Nest Ball. We can try and get Latias established, just so we have that. So we'll just do a quick prize check as well. So we've got the boys there, that's fine. Teal Mask is in deck. We've got one Drakloak in the prize cards. And we've got one Noctowl in hand, so that's fine. Tera Orb, Candy, we have everything we need, so we can do that. So we'll Nest Ball for Fan Rotom. I don't have to get, you know, Teal Mask down now. I can do that next turn. So I'll just do that. Grab those. Obviously, if we do get Iono, it's going to sting, but, well, it's fine. I'll just attach to the Dreepy, and I'll pass. Because now I can go Noctowl for Jewel Seeker, Crystal plus Candy, and I can get immediate pressure on with the Bound Suites, which is what I want to do. I don't have to use Wellspring, but obviously I want to be using Pult in this matchup anyway. Pult is really good in this matchup, and if you're putting Squawk down, mate, I will take that. Jungle's fine. I'm not worried about jungle. I can take a 3-price turn right now. If he retreats into Squawk, that's just a bad idea. There goes Carmine. Serena is not a deck I think I'd see on the ladder anytime soon, but I guess there's a first time for everything. Not to knock my opponent, because Serena's an interesting deck. It's just, you know, it's one of those decks that you don't really think about. You know, let's real, who had Serena EX on the ladder as their bingo card in 2026, you know? But that's just how it rolls sometimes. But obviously, because we've established the Latias, we can now get really set up, which is the nice thing. They're not benching another Bound Suite. But they could, because obviously they still have Squawk. If they do, it's fine. I'll just kill both Bound Suites. But if they don't put down another, I will boss the Squawk. Because Squawk is 2 prizes, Pult can take it out. I can then take out the Bound Suite and just take another prize card. Which is what we kind of want to be doing. He's going for a quick blow. Respect, my friend. Respect. And he does the 30 because he got heads. We love to see it. Unfortunately, I'm about to eat that poor sweet alive. Let's go for a Jewel Seeker. We'll grab ourselves the Candy plus the Crystal. So we go Candy, Dragapult. We'll go Sparkling Crystal. We'll then Noctowl a second time, just so we can get our board more established. Obviously, we don't need to Crispin now. We can grab, if we've got it. We don't, that's fine. I'll just grab Buddy Poffin then. But then again, Nest Ball's better because I can get other stuff. So yeah, I'll go for that. Get rid of that. Nest Ball will get the Teal Mass down just in case something happens to Wellspring. Obviously, Dragapult's a Tera, but that's fine. We'll then boss the Squawk, retreat into the Pult, and Phantom Dive for 200. Take out the Squawk, and out goes the Bound Suite. A nice 3-prize turn with the Pult package. That's what we like to see. As I always keep saying, and there we go, that's an immediate concession from my opponent. That is what the pressure of this deck can do. You don't always have to use Pult, but when you can, it's devastating. And I really do think I've cooked with this list. Obviously, we lost game 1 to Goldengo, which is something that kind of hard wars this deck, I'll be honest with you. There's no polite way of sugarcoating it, I'll be honest with you. But to be brutally honest, Terapagos struggles with Dengo anyway. You know, if you don't get that turn 1 Wellspring off, and if they put the Solrock in front of you, it can be very tricky. And obviously, you can put in a Vip Band to try and like solve that issue. But at the same time, that's committing a deck space to a tool. And if you're putting it on the Wellspring specifically, that means you need more resources to actually get it going. So, I don't know, just something to think about if, you know, choose to play this deck list. So what did I think to the deck? I really do think I've cooked with this deck list. Obviously, I think there are a few little bits which I'd like to sort. You know, as we've established, a Ditto would be really good in this list. We'd have had a much easier time against Dengo with the Ditto in the package. As for other cards, you know, like you can go for, shall we say, it's tricky because like there's so many cards you can consider. Like obviously Night Stretcher, I think you need to put in this list. Something, you know, to help against Dengo could be a bit better, like maybe a Moltres. But again, it's committing deck space, and you want to put in a damage mod of some degree. You know, like there's only so much you can do to like counter an archetype, and you don't really want to do that because you're kind of just, you know, making things harder on yourself. But honestly, I'm really impressed with this deck list. It's been something that I've been, you know, working on for the last week or so. And I'm really glad it got to really spread its legs. You know, like the Wellspring package is just really good. That's a no-brainer. The Teal Mask Ogerpon pulled its weight, obviously getting us amazing draws and stuff like that. And some not-so-amazing draws. We didn't use Clefairy or Iron Leaves, but you don't have to use those in every matchup. Obviously, we had the advantage against that Dragapult Charizard deck, because they might think we don't play type coverage for them, but we do. And it's one of those things, like, you just don't expect the type coverage that this deck can provide. And when you have a Pult as your big setup attacker, so to speak, that it can just do early devastating damage, it's so good to try, and I really recommend giving this deck list a try. If you do end up playing this deck list and you make any changes to it, do let me know, because I might give it a try as another variant, so to speak. But anyway, I really hope you enjoyed seeing my Dragapult Tera box video. Really impressed with how this deck has done. You know, like, obviously we lost to Dengo, but I don't really care about that. You know, Dengo's Dengo. Most decks kind of just falter to Dengo anyway. But honestly, this build has been really fun to make, and, well, I really hope you enjoy it. Anywho, I'm going to leave it all to it for today. Really hope you enjoyed seeing Dragapult Tera box, and I'll see you next time.